tiny camera has reminded me why I make videos. Not because it has cinema camera level recording qualities or anything like that, but just because it is so fun to use. And to me, that's really important because that's what keeps me creating and filming. So why is this little camera different from any other old action camera? That's why. It's magnetic and also very small, weighing at only 53 grams, which is not only handy to have a free accessible tripod anywhere that is magnetic, but it can also do this. In the box of the Go Ultra comes with these wearable accessories, which means you can unlock hands-free POV footage. This is honestly such a fun, interesting angle that has definitely become a lot more popular recently online. I love wearing this on top of my head with the hat clip for all types of sports, especially tennis. But it's also great for creating a lot of BTS type content, not only for YouTube stuff, but actually for a lot of my professional work. I don't have to set up a camera on a tripod or bring a whole nother stand just to put this on. I can literally just take this, put it on my head, on my chest, and I've got a direct view of what I'm focusing on. Being able to easily and pretty discreetly record 4K footage from my point of view, hands-free, is pretty valuable. It's also pretty nice that there's no big logo on the front of the camera, so it does stay in the shadows a bit more and it's less noticeable, which is great for introverts like me. But if you don't want to get that POV type angle all the time, you can get this extra little accessory, which is a little pivot stand slash sticky mount, and you can just chuck the camera on like this and it will clip in nice and securely and basically stick it on any surface like this. I mean, it's not even using a suction mount, it's just got like a sticky adhesive, but it actually stays sticky. But if you look a little bit closer and you unscrew this sticky cup off, you actually get access to a whole 1/4 inch thread that you can basically mount onto any stand or tripod if you wanted to. I really like using this simple clamp arm. This one's just from Small Rig, they're decently cheap. And you screw the attachment on like this, and then you put the camera on. That's upside down. You put the camera on like that and you can, again, pretty much mount this wherever you want by simply just clamping it down, and you've got a really versatile setup. Stuff like this just makes using this type of setup so enjoyable because it is so simple. And because it is really this small of a form factor, you can basically put it anywhere. And you got to remember, this is still an action camera, so let's take it for a spin. Oh yeah. As you can see, the stabilization is pretty solid, and there's multiple different modes you can choose from so you can tailor it to exactly the type of stabilization that you need. I've got it on the highest right now, and if there was no stabilization, the clips would look like this. So thank God for that. I will say as well, the screen on the Go Ultra is actually very handy to have. It's a 2.5-inch screen which also flips up so you can literally see yourself when vlogging, which I am now, and it just makes watching back footage and changing settings on the actual camera so much easier and a better experience overall, because you're not fiddling around with a smaller screen, and it is a touch screen, so it can get annoying if it is too small, but it's not, so that's great. And right now I'm actually using the built-in microphone on the Go Ultra itself on a voice enhancement or voice isolation setting. So how do you think it sounds? But you know what would sound better? This is the Insta360 Mic Air, and it pairs seamlessly with the Go Ultra wirelessly. So now you can have even crispier, high quality audio just vlogging like this with the most simple setup. But do you know what would make this filming setup even better? Now the Go Ultra is on the Insta360 2-in-1 selfie stick / tripod. First of all, you can see a lot more in the frame because the camera is further away on the stick. And it's also way more comfortable to vlog like this for longer durations because I don't have to hold my arm out as far because the stick is doing the work for me. And because it is a tripod, when you need a little stand, you just flip these little legs out set it down, and then you're good to go. It's honestly such an easy and good setup to record content for yourself. Are you serious? And I should also mention there's this cool ring remote which I've been using, which allows you to wirelessly start and stop recording literally from your fingertips. This is really useful if the Go Ultra is mounted in like a really difficult to reach location, or if your hands are just actively tied up doing something else like driving a car or riding a bike or doing some crazy sport. It's just nice to have this on your finger ready to go when you want to start recording and stop recording for easy clips. These are all just optional extra accessories that you don't have to get, but I thought I'd just show you guys in case you didn't know they existed or how they work. So there you go. Oh, yep, sounds about right. So what is new with this camera compared to their other products? Well, there is a bigger sensor in this camera at 1/1.28 inches. The bigger the sensor, the more light gets captured, which usually means slightly better image quality and low light performance. And there is a new ambient light sensor, which basically allows the camera to capture more true to life colors. And I do think it works pretty well because I tend to like the colors that come straight out of this camera compared to something like the DJI Osmo Nano. I did a full comparison video as my last video between this and the DJI Osmo Nano, so if you want to go check that out, please do. But yeah, I feel like the DJI Osmo Nano just comes out a little bit more dull compared to this one. The active HDR mode also really helps balance out the dynamics of the image. So if you're in a really difficult contrasty scene with lots of highlights and shadows, the HDR mode works pretty well to help balance all that out. The low light mode called Pure Video is also introduced for this camera, which basically just helps process the image coming out of this camera in low light conditions specifically to be a little bit cleaner and brighter using image enhancements and a bit of noise reduction and sharpening. And as you can see, it does pretty solid, even though it does look a bit overprocessed in my opinion. But I do think the Go Ultra does handle low light a bit better than the DJI Osmo Nano. I don't usually shoot in 4K 60 or 50 frames too much, but you can shoot in those modes, of course, if you really need to get some slow-mo footage, or if you just like a smooth 50 or 60 frames per second look. I like shooting in the 4:3 aspect ratio just because it's just way more flexibility to crop in however I need to, say for vertical content or whatnot. But unfortunately, when you are shooting in 4:3, it limits you to 30 frames per second, so you can't go to the 50 or 60 frames. And it is worth to note that the Go Ultra can only record up to 8-bit color depth, whereas the DJI Osmo Nano can record 10-bit comfortably. But unless you're looking to heavily color grade your footage that comes out of these sort of cameras, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I can still put my very good looking Bliss LUT, link in description, over the top of this footage and it still looks good and it holds up well. And to handle all of your footage, this camera takes an SD card which goes right into the camera itself. Currently, I've got a 512GB one in there and you can get like 10 hours of footage on there, which is insane. So yeah, it only takes SD card. There is no internal storage capabilities on this. I have also personally done my own battery life tests with the Go Ultra, both with the camera out of its dock and inside of its dock so it receives charge over time. So here are my few little tests and their results. All of these tests were recorded in 16:9 4K video on a high bit rate in a very nice, cool 22°C environment. For the whole package, the Go Ultra recorded 4K 25 frames per second for 2 hours and 22 minutes. And for the standalone camera by itself, it lasted 48 minutes before it died. And then recording 4K 50 by itself, it lasted 33 minutes before it died. So at the end of the day, with a camera like this and this camera specifically, I find I just want to bring this all the time in my daily life to document and record things, especially in so many cool angles, instead of using something like my phone, because this is just such a flexible and usable type of form factor. Now, would I use this for professional filmmaking? Probably not. But it does allow you to get angles that bigger cameras just can't really do without big heavy rigs or setups. So there is that. I know this video is sponsored by Insta360, and thank you to Insta360 for sponsoring. But for the time I have had this camera, I've genuinely had a really good time shooting with it, and it's kind of changed the way I look on capturing content. I do genuinely like the image that comes straight out of this camera, considering of how small of a camera it is. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Insta360 GO ULTRA. If you do decide you want to check out this camera, I'll leave a link in the description below, and you can use code DRAYZ at checkout to help support my channel to keep doing what I love, which is creating.